All right, next up we have Craig Deluz. Craig Deluz is working with the Firearms Policy Coalition, been defending our 2A rights. How do you guys feel about your 2A rights? That's it? That's it? How do you guys feel about your 2A rights? Let's get fired up for Craig. He's out there defending your 2A rights every day. He's involved in the community. He's involved with education. He's doing a lot for this community. So you guys give it up for Craig.
Thank you, everybody. Before I get started, I want to make sure to thank all of the volunteers that helped make this event to happen. Give them a big round of applause. These are people who are giving of their time, their talent, and their treasury to make sure that we have an opportunity to come here together. When I was asked to come and speak here today, I was told, I said, look, they told me, said, look, rallies are great, but we want to make sure that we're providing people with some substantive information that they can use to help make California great again. Is there anybody here who wants to make California great again? All right. And that's what my desire is. That's what my hope and my passion is, specifically when it comes to the Second Amendment. Don't worry about it. One of the things that I always make sure to tell people is it's not just about, first of all, understand this. It's not about guns, all right? This is what you need to understand. It's not about shooting sports. It's not about hunting, all right? It is about a fundamental human right to defend oneself. The fact that the founding fathers understood that we have a fundamental human right to defend ourselves, and they wanted to make sure to enumerate that in the Constitution with the right to bear arms. When they talked about the need for a militia, they weren't just talking about the right to bear arms, they were talking about the responsibility to bear arms. The responsibility that we have to protect and defend our neighbors, ourselves, and our family. It's important that we understand that this is not just about the Second Amendment, but it's about all civil rights. We've been convinced that civil rights is supposed to be about special certain rights for special certain people based on your race, your religion, your gender, or gender identity. Civil rights are rights that are available to all citizens, to all peoples. They are rights that are given by God, not by government, because if government gives them, government can't take them away. And let me be very clear with you. Our civil rights, not just the Second Amendment, but our very civil rights are under attack simply because we choose to exercise our Second Amendment rights. I know you're thinking, Craig, what are you talking about? I am glad you asked that question. Here in the state of California, it is illegal for a gun store owner to have a picture of a handgun on the outside of their store. It is illegal, violating their free speech rights. Certain billboards that are controlled by the state of California, you are not allowed to advertise firearms-related material, even if it includes advocating for the Second Amendment. That is a violation of our constitutional rights, of our free speech rights. In the state of California, in municipalities up and down the state, they are creating special zoning and permits restricting where you can put a gun store. So bad that in the county of Alameda, there is no place in the unincorporated county where you can locate a new gun store. Oh, and the gun stores that do currently exist, if they were to close down, they wouldn't be allowed to reopen. That's a violation of our constitutional rights, of our civil rights. In the state of California, there's this thing called gun violence restraining orders. It's moving throughout the West Coast. It currently exists in California, in Washington, and is about to exist in Oregon, where someone close to you can say, I believe that this person is a danger to themselves or to others. They go to a judge and they have your right to keep and bear arms taken away from you. And then here in the state of California, with this gun violence restraining order, they issue a gun seizure warrant telling law enforcement that this individual has lost their right to own or possess a firearm. We believe they own or possess firearms, and they are a danger to themselves or others. Here you go take their guns. That's a violation of due process rights. Because you are now guilty until, oh, by the way, yeah, you do get to eventually go before a judge after your rights have been taken away. And when you do go before that judge, you are now guilty until proven innocent. You have to prove that you are not a danger to yourself or others. Your right against unreasonable search and seizure is taken away because with that gun seizure warrant, they can search anywhere they believe you have a gun. Your house, your place of business, your car, your girlfriend's house, your parents' house, wherever they believe you have a firearm. It's a violation of your private property rights because, well, let's be honest, firearms are private property. And it's a violation of your Second Amendment rights. It is so bad in this country when it comes to the Second Amendment that even your very life becomes suspect. Your right to life becomes suspect if you are a gun owner. In the state of Florida, an individual is playing video games, 2 o'clock in the morning. Here's a loud bang at the door. You hear a loud bang at the door, you think something might be up. He got his legally owned firearm, went to answer the door. While not necessarily advisable to open the door, it is completely legal for him to open the door. He sees a shadowy figure with a gun pointed at him. He goes to close the door, gets shot, and dies. Turns out that was a law enforcement agent. Turns out it was a cop who was looking for a robbery suspect. Didn't identify himself as a law enforcement officer. And when the family went to sue the city, the judge said that that individual put himself at risk, that he was at fault because he answered his own door in his own house, exercising his right to keep and bear arms. It was his fault. This is the judge. Let me be very clear. Our civil rights are in jeopardy. Nothing less than our American way of life is at risk. And that's why it's important that we do something, that we not just come here. It's great that we come here and we rally, but it's also important that we do something. So what do? The first thing is you need to inform yourself. What I tend to find is that many people who support the Second Amendment really don't understand how bad things are. They really don't understand how much under attack we are. They don't understand how crazy some of the laws that are being proposed really are. Most people who get polled, even NRA members, say, well, I believe in reasonable gun laws. What they don't realize is reasonable was passed decades ago. Laws that violate your rights are not reasonable. Laws that say you have to give up your fundamental human rights are not reasonable. Laws that say that you are not allowed to own weapons that are in common use are not reasonable. If we treated any other civil right the way we treat the Second Amendment, well, you can only go to church once a week. You know, you can only write your legislator once. Gosh, you know, we have too many, there's too many libraries around, too many library books. You can only have one library book a year. The people who run this building would lose their minds. But it's the Second Amendment. To them, it's a right, but it's not a right. It's not one that they value or choose to exercise, so therefore they devalue it. Justice Thomas recently said in his dissenting opinion in a court case, he basically said, look, we have devalued the Second Amendment to a second-class right. The only way that will change is if we stand up. So we need to inform ourselves of what is taking place legislatively, what is taking place in the courts. And folks, we have access to more information than any generation before us. If I might make one suggestion, firearmspolicy.org. Facebook.com/gun policy. A great place to go to find out what's going on and how you can get involved. But we're not the only ones. There's the California Rifle and Pistol Association. There's Gun Owners of California. There's the NRA. There are tons of groups that are out there to help provide you with information so that you can be informed. The next thing you need to do is to be engaged. Get active and get involved. We make it easy. 3 clicks and you've now sent a letter or an email off to members who are going to be voting on key legislation. It's that simple. It takes a few minutes for you to call your legislator. Get involved politically, because here's the thing. Let me just be real with you. It's a very, very hard thing to get anti-gun legislators, anti-Second Amendment legislators to vote pro-gun. It's a lot easier to get pro-gun legislators to vote pro-gun. And the only way that changes is if we make it a priority and we make it change. So get active and get involved. If you have a pro-gun legislator, great. Look at the district next to you. Do they have pro-gun legislators? If not, get active and get engaged. This is war. Politics is like war. It's about taking ground. We can't retreat. You don't win wars by retreating. We will not win on this political battlefield if we do not advance and take ground away from the enemy. Get active, get engaged. And the last thing that we need to be doing is we need to be growing. We need to be telling others, spreading the word. Each and every one of us has a sphere of influence. Those people who listen to what we have to say. We have a responsibility to educate them on the Second Amendment, to educate them on what's going on legislatively, and to educate them on who is standing for their civil rights and who is advocating against their civil rights. We have to be able to do that. The advent of social media gives us the ability, with the click of a button, to share information with thousands of people. Instead of posting the cat videos, the frozen cat, the cute cat videos, and they're cute, I gotta admit it, they're cute. They are pretty cute. Right? But let's share information. Let's share the information with those who are around us. Because here's the thing, there are a lot of people who agree with us who are not with us, and we need them to be. I'm going to close with this. When I first started getting politically involved, it really was because I started to realize how many decisions were being made that I had no idea about. How many decisions in this building were being made that I had no idea about. And realizing that there is a fundamental struggle in our political environment today between those who believe that you have a right to choose your own destiny and those who believe that they have the right to choose your destiny for you. I don't know about you, but I believe in my right and my ability to choose my destiny for myself. I believe that this is an America that was founded on individual rights and individual responsibility. That this is a nation where the only nation in the world where someone can come to this nation or be born in this nation with absolutely nothing, and by the time the next generation comes, have absolutely everything and be living the American dream. It can't happen anywhere else. People come to this country from all over because they know that this is a place where you can be rewarded for your hard work and for your ingenuity and for your passion, where if you stand for your rights, it means something. It only means something if we're willing to fight for it. Thank you very much.
All right, next up we have Craig Deluz. Craig Deluz is working with the Firearms Policy Coalition, been defending our 2A rights. How do you guys feel about your 2A rights? That's it? That's it? How do you guys feel about your 2A rights? Let's get fired up for Craig. He's out there defending your 2A rights every day. He's involved in the community. He's involved with education. He's doing a lot for this community. So you guys give it up for Craig.
Thank you, everybody. Before I get started, I want to make sure to thank all of the volunteers that helped make this event to happen. Give them a big round of applause. These are people who are giving of their time, their